coffee! Hey, and welcome back to the Empowered Traveler Show. You are joining us right in the middle of a really great video series all about your pay, understanding where it goes, how to negotiate bill rates. If you're just joining us, go back and watch the other 3 first. But this episode is going to be about your coffee, your pay, what is left in the pot is yours, and understanding where exactly that goes. Your pay breakdown is today. All right, I am your host, Laura Latimer, a traveler of 8 years and the founder of Nomadicare. That's the place you can go to get a vetted recruiter so you can go live your dreams. And today we're talking about your pay. So we've gone through, we've put money in the VMSs, we put money / coffee in the company's pot, and even a little bit in a negotiation cup that could go either way. Now let's talk about your pay and the different places that the rest of the coffee, which is all yours, where does it go? What does that look like? What is marketing versus what is ours? The first thing is going to be the taxable part of our pay. I'm only talking right now about travelers who have a true tax home. I won't go into what that means on this video, but I'm talking about the travelers who qualify to have taxable pay and then also these pay that is just reimbursements and untaxed money. So the first part of our pay is going to be this taxable part. This part is usually around $18 to $24 per hour. And this is the only part that's actually considered income for us. As far as our W-2s, the IRS looks at, this is our income and the rest are reimbursements, giving us tax-free money to reimburse us as travelers. So you can see if we only have a little bit percentage of the coffee of what we're making into the taxable portion, it can make it a lot trickier to get loans, to get house loans and things like that. So you can think about when your pay is being spread out, if it's worth it to you or not to have the low taxable. But what's great is when you have a low taxable income, of course, you're making more dollars on your paycheck. So first is the taxable. The next thing is going to be the 2 biggest places that we get tax-free reimbursements. This is going to be our housing reimbursement, and this is called meals and incidentals. These first 2 categories are going to be the biggest places that we see our tax-free reimbursement. The government has determined a certain amount of money that the recruitment company is able to pay us per day that we're traveling to reimburse us for these 2 things. You can even go see what that amount is. You can go on gsa.gov, type in the zip code that you're going to be traveling to, and based on the cost of living in that area, they're gonna say this is the maximum that you're allowed to give a traveler in order to go to that place. Now this is important to know because that number is not a requirement, which sometimes travelers think it is. It is just a maximum. Sometimes there is not enough coffee left in this pot for the recruitment company to max those out. Actually, that is generally almost always the case. But we do want them to get as close as possible to that maximum because that's where we're going to make the most amount of money if we have more money being non-taxed. All right, so we've got our taxable base income, we got our non-taxed housing reimbursement, and our non-taxed meals and incidentals. I'm gonna say one more thing about this cup right here. This is our housing cup. So with this one, you have 2 choices. You can either get coffee, put it in your housing cup, and put it in your side, so you're finding your own housing. Now the secret here is to try to get more coffee in here than it costs for the housing so you have leftover money. But the other option is to have the company find housing for you. So they're gonna fill this up, put it on their side over here, and they're gonna find you housing. It still came out of the same coffee pot. It still came out of your coffee. They're just the one doing the work and taking that stipend. So still know that's your pay. They're just taking it out and putting it on their side. There's no such thing as free housing. Okay, so we have the taxable base income, we have our housing stipends, we have our meals and incidental stipends. That is not where our coffee pot ends. Now our travel reimbursement. This is the money that the company is going to give us when they're going from point A to point B. Some companies give us a certain amount per mile. Some people will say up to $400. Whatever that is, that's still part of our coffee. It's not part of their coffee. The next thing is the license reimbursement. Some companies will say, we will reimburse you for your license in California and Texas as soon as you get a job. And true, they do. They might put this money and this coffee on our first paycheck, which feels really big and great and exciting. But just remember, it's still just marketing. It still came out of the same coffee pot. That was already our money to begin with. Other places that you might see money go is going to be in CEUs. Sometimes CEUs is a good thing to get on extensions, and we'll explain that in another video. But if they're giving you, let's say, $200 tax-free dollars, once you give them receipts for a CEU to reimburse you, that was money that came out of your coffee pot. It's not something they're taking out of their coffee. That's part of your pay. And the last thing I'll talk about is bonuses. If a company's marketing team decided that we're gonna give completion bonuses for assignments, this is the worst place that they could decide to put money. If you are getting, let's say, a $1,000 bonus and they're putting part of your coffee in this mug is taxed very heavily. And if they're doing that, but they didn't fill up these other mugs first, then they're really taking money away from you because it's taxed. So if a company is ever offering you a bonus, no, that is marketing. Say no to that. Feel empowered to say no and ask them to put that $1,000 back in one of these. If they haven't maxed out your housing or your meals and incidentals, perfect. Ask them to put that money there or give you more for travel, reimburse you for CEU, something that is non-taxed. All right, here we go. We've got our taxable base rate. Let's say that's around $20. Boom, okay, what's left over? We've got housing stipend. Great, part of our coffee. We've got our meals and incidentals stipend. Thank you. Travel, cool. Maybe we're getting $500 for travel, non-taxed. Thank you. And this one, the license reimbursement. Great, thanks for reimbursing me. Maybe that's $300. And then a CEU, a little bit of CEU, and the company says, oh, cool, we've got a little bit of coffee left over. And instead of a bonus, you say, no, I'm not gonna take a bonus, that's tax. We're gonna go back over here. Give me more for that housing. The GSA is not maxed out. That's the best place to get money. Give me a little bit more for travel. Look at all this, we're getting paid so much. Or maybe I just made too much coffee. There we go. Just for good measure. This is a traveler's pay package.